Second Chronicles chapter 16 and verse 9, the Bible says that the eyes of the Lord go to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself mighty on behalf of those whose hearts are perfect towards him. And you know, I've discovered it's not the wealthy, it's not the famous, it's not the smartest, the most educated that God's looking for. God is looking for someone whose heart is perfect towards him. And by that simply means whose heart is really set upon him, who says, God, I want you. I want to know you. I just want to live for you. I met such a person in Brazil. He's probably no one that you've ever heard of, but he's a great friend of mine, and his name is Célio. That's the way it's pronounced, Célio in Portuguese. And Célio is a photographer. That's what he does. He just takes pictures, but he'll only do it for Jesus. In other words, he only does things that will take pictures that are things that will end up glorifying Christ. And so that's his whole ministry, and that's what he does. And he has just a simple type of faith. His heart is set on the Lord. He's come to many of my meetings and taken pictures and just used them for the glory of God. But Célio came to me one day and he said, Pastor Sammy, he said, are you going to China? I hear you're going to China. And I said, yes, I'm going to China. He said, well, I would like to meet you there. I said, well, say, to be honest, I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to be in China. I know I'm going first to Beijing, but I don't know where I'm going to be. So you're in Brazil and I'm in the U.S. I don't know how we would meet up. He says, that's okay. I'll find you. I said, wait a minute, so you don't understand. There's 1 billion people in China. How can you find me? He said, I'll find you. I said, well, I know I'm going to be in Beijing, but I'm not even sure where in Beijing. He said, that's okay. I'll find you. I laughed. I said, Célio, there's no way. Beijing has millions of people. You'll never find me. He said, I'll find you. The Lord will lead me to you. I said, okay, Célio. So my wife and I, a few months later, we got on a plane. We flew to China. And as we flew there, we had to change planes in Hong Kong. And we were running a little late. And so we finally got to our flight. And we got on the plane. And there were 2 seats, and we sat down, and there was 1 seat left next to me, and the plane was packed, and it looked like no one else was coming. And then at the very last minute, someone comes running on, and you'll never believe who it is. It's Célio, and his seat was right next to mine. And so we flew from Hong Kong to Beijing together. God bless that young man. He trusted God. His heart was perfect towards him. You see, you don't have to be some great preacher like I am. All you have to do is have a heart that's set on God. A heart that says, Lord, I want you. I want to follow you. That's who God blesses. That's who God honors. God's looking for such a heart. Would you set your heart on him, and he will do great and mighty things.